Welcome back, Crew Cats. It's the Crew Corner News Review. We've got a jam-packed episode for you today, so be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the Crew news and the Crew Corner podcast. If you haven't caught episode 1 of the Crew Corner podcast, AJ and I go over the offseason in review. And then in episode 2, we go over the Super Draft and get into all sorts of fun topics for you. Now, on to the news of the week. Tim Bezpachenko has opened up about the future of Wil Trapp to 10 TV's Dave Holmes. Wil is our homegrown hero. He's been with the club since 2013, and he's been our captain for the past few years. Also in those past few years, there's been a lot of talk about when he would be sold to a team in Europe. And a consensus is starting to form around his future at Crew SC. Wil did just turn 27. He just recently celebrated the birth of a baby girl, and it seems his value in the transfer market is reaching its peak. Speaking to Wall Sports, the Crew GM said, "Wil is a consummate professional. He is a homegrown player from Columbus, and as everyone knows, our goal with our academy is to produce players on our first team that can represent the values and the style of play for Columbus Crew SC. And Wil has done that in spades over the course of his career. But when you sit down with the players, just like you do with staff in any other organization that is successful or high-performing, people have goals, and they have objectives in their career, and it's often the time, especially with our domestic Americans and our leaders, that they do want to have other experiences. And so it's something that we've talked about with Wil. If there is an opportunity abroad, or maybe even domestically, that is appropriate for him, and it's something he wants to do, then we'll consider it. Bezpachenko does go on to say that the team has not received any offers for the Gahanna native, and that any club would be lucky to have a player like him. So, reading between the lines on this, he's not going anywhere in this window. Having said that, that sounded like a very nice eulogy with a very nice for sale sign on top of it. And signs are starting to point towards a European club buying him in the summer. I can't really tell if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Wil's been our boy since his academy days. And I know there's a lot of fans who would love to see him in black and gold for life. But our boy is a man now, and I think it is time he went out and saw the world. I'd like to see him sold, not because I think he would be easily replaced, that would just be naive of me, and nor is it just because I think we would fetch a hefty fee for him. If he were sold, I would expect the fee to be somewhere in the $5 to $7 million range. Certainly not what we got for Stefan. Maybe in the ballpark of what we paid for Zelarayan, if we are lucky. No, I think he should be sold because Wil is the most on-point representation of this club's and this academy's identity. And I could not think of a better player to export that identity to the European theater than Wil Trapp. So let's enjoy him while we've got him, and let's see what kind of fee we can fetch for this player, if any. If he's in black and gold for life, hey, you will get no complaints from me. In other news, Milton Valenzuela also opened up about returning for the 2020 season after missing all of 2019 while recovering from knee surgery. Speaking to the Dispatch, Milton discussed what he'd been up to in 2019 while his teammates endured the roughest stretches of play in their recent history. Turns out he spent most of his time watching film, rehabbing with Federico Higuain, and getting to know his teammates on a more personal level. He made it clear that he's excited to get back onto the pitch and finally kick a ball around with some real intensity, and Coach Caleb Porter has made it clear Milton is going to be an integral part of his plan for this season. I'm looking forward to what Caleb's going to do with his fullbacks this season. He's got two basically brand new toys to play with in Valenzuela and Cadden. I don't expect Cadden to be starting when he gets here. That's still Harris and Offel's job to lose. But as the season goes on and he gets more settled in his time, I expect Chris Cadden to take over that right back spot. And, all signs indicated even last year that Milton was going to be integral to Caleb. So I see no sign of that changing now. Lastly, the team also tweeted out what appears to be a preview for the 2020 kit. The shirt sponsor is still unknown, but it appears the crew will be wearing the 3 stripes across the shoulder that we've seen from several other clubs thus far as we head into training camp. And, yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. I'm not a fan of it at all. Not so much, it's not that I think the design is stupid. I actually like the design and I'll probably buy a shirt. But I am not a fan of this level. I'm not a fan of this level of uniformity amongst clubs and this kind of uniformity around a league's look. I think that when you're getting to that level, you're starting to focus and starting to make it look more like one individual product than an actual league of teams that comes into it. And maybe that's what MLS is trying to do. Maybe now that they've got their teams together and they've got the actual league and the cities and everything arranged on that, that they are now working on solidifying the MLS brand so they can take that brand and export it to places around the world. So we'll see on that. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the uniformity, but the kit itself I actually do think looks good. So this has been the Crew Corner News Review. If you like what you're seeing and enjoy what you're hearing, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We put out news reviews on Tuesdays, and for now, the podcasts are coming up bi-weekly on Thursdays, and then once the season starts, we'll be covering game day reviews, previews, during the podcast, and all sorts of fun Crew SC content coming out. So the next time we'll be out in person will be for the Nordeck General Meeting at February 1st at Endeavor Brewing. So if you're a fan, if you want to get more involved with the fan groups here at Columbus Crew SC, be sure to come out to the Nordeck General Meeting on February 1st at Endeavor Brewing. I'll go ahead and include the link and location down in the description. So for Crew Corner, my name is Matt, and we'll see you in the next video.